The back room of Burke's saloon reeked of whiskey, sweat, and fear. May's wrists burned, bound by coarse rope that bit into her skin. Beside her, Lily, her younger sister, crouched low, trembling so violently her breaths came in ragged gasps. At 21, Lily was too young for this nightmare, her wide eyes glistening with terror. Burke loomed over them, his cruel smile twisting like a blade. In the corner, Sykes leaned casually, fingering a knife, his grin eager and predatory. Two men, two shadows, and no way out. You can't pay me in coin, Burke growled, his voice low and menacing. So you'll pay in flesh. May's heart pounded against her ribs, her mouth dry, her lips stinging from the slap Burke had delivered earlier. Lily's pleading gaze met hers, wordless but desperate. Burke yanked May to her feet, his grip bruising her arm, his breath hot against her cheek. You or her, he said, his hand trailing along the rope binding Lily. Your choice. Lily whimpered, the sound shattering May's resolve. Shame crushed her chest, heavy and suffocating. She closed her eyes, forcing her trembling voice to speak. I'll do it, she whispered, broken. Please, let her go. The words hung heavy in the dim room. May wasn't naked, not yet, but she felt stripped bare, her pride sacrificed to protect the only family she had left. Lily cried out, straining against her bonds. No, May, don't. Somebody, help us. Her voice cracked, piercing the thin wooden walls. In the saloon's front room, Jack Colton froze. He'd come for tobacco and a quiet drink, nothing more. A weathered man with graying temples and shoulders bowed from years of ranch work, Jack kept to himself. But that cry, it wasn't just a sound. It was an echo of a past he'd buried. 10 years ago, his daughter's scream had haunted him, unanswered, before a bullet stole her forever. Jack set his glass down, the clink sharp in the sudden silence. The piano man's hands stilled. Drunks at the bar glanced up, uneasy. Jack's boots thudded against the floor as he pushed through the door to the back room. The sight stopped him cold, May, her shirt torn at the shoulder, eyes hollow with despair, Lily, bound and sobbing, Burke, gripping May's arm, Sykes, smirking, his knife glinting in the lamplight. For a heartbeat, Jack wasn't in the saloon. He was back in that night a decade ago, his daughter's pleas ringing in his ears, his failure a weight he'd never shed. His jaw tightened. His fingers twitched near the revolver at his hip. Burke snarled, noticing him. This ain't your business, old man. Turn around. Jack didn't move. His eyes locked on May's, reading the silent plea there, a woman ready to sacrifice everything for her sister. The air grew thick, charged with tension. Burke laughed, cruel and sharp. This one's already offered herself up. Brave sister. Maybe I'll take the young one after, just to be fair. Lily's desperate cry, please, mister, don't let him. Snapped something in Jack. His revolver cleared its holster in one fluid motion, the hammer's click louder than a gunshot. Sykes froze, his knife half raised. Burke's grin faltered, fear flickering in his eyes. No one doubted the steel in Jack's stare. Untie them, Jack said, his voice low, steady, undeniable. Burke hesitated, glancing between the revolver and May. Whispers of Jack Colton, the old soldier who never missed, still lingered in this town. With a curse, Burke cut the ropes. Sykes retreated, his knife clattering to the floor. May stumbled forward, pulling Lily into her arms. They clung to each other, tears streaking their dirt-smudged faces, a glimmer of hope breaking through their fear. Jack kept his gun trained. Men like Burke only respected steel. Get out, he said, colder now. Burke spat on the floor, humiliated, but he backed toward the door, Sykes trailing him. This ain't over, old man, Burke hissed before the door slammed shut. May turned to Jack, her voice trembling. Why'd you help us? You don't even know us. Jack holstered his gun, his eyes heavy with unspoken pain. Because someone should have helped my daughter, he muttered. And nobody did. Lily, still shaking, whispered, "Are we safe now?" Jack's gaze hardened, fixed on the door. Not even close. Burke was a coward, but a coward with power, and men like that never let go. Jack knew the storm was coming. He led the sisters out of the saloon, the night air heavy with silence. At the edge of town, his old horse waited, tied to a post. He lifted Lily onto the saddle, then helped May up. "You didn't have to save us," May said quietly. "Now Burke'll come for you too." Jack gave a small shake of his head. "I've had worse men than Burke come for me. I'm still here." His voice carried the weight of scars, of storms outlived. But deep down, he knew this one wasn't over. At his ranch, the house was worn but sturdy, a single lantern casting shadows across the porch. Inside, Jack set out water and bread. The sisters ate in silence, too hungry for words. Jack watched them, memories of his daughter sitting in that same chair cutting him deep. He kept it hidden behind a face like stone. May broke the quiet. "What happens when Burke comes back?" Jack leaned back, eyes narrowing. "He'll come. Too proud not to. But he'll find I'm ready." Lily clutched her tin cup, her voice small. "You're just one man." Jack's dry chuckle sounded like gravel. "One man with a steady hand and a clear conscience can be enough." The sisters exchanged a glance, a flicker of trust passing between them. Outside, the wind rattled the shutters, a coyote's cry piercing the night. The world seemed to hold its breath. Morning broke with a sharp chill. May stepped onto the porch, pulling her shawl tight. "You think Burke'll come today?" Jack, feeding his horse, glanced at her. "Men like him don't wait long. He's been shamed. He'll come." Lily appeared, clutching coffee in a too-big cup. "What if he brings the law?" Jack's eyes scanned the horizon. "The law here's Deputy Crow, and he's in Burke's pocket. That makes him worse than an outlaw." The sisters' worry was palpable, their safety fragile. Jack saddled his horse and rode to town, leaving strict instructions: stay inside. Don't open the door. If trouble comes, hide in the root cellar. The saloon buzzed when Jack entered. Burke sat with Sykes and Deputy Crow, whose badge gleamed mockingly. Well, well," Burke drawled, loud enough for all to hear. "The old rancher thinks he's a hero. You think you've paid their debt? Those girls ain't free." Jack's voice cut through, calm but sharp. "They're free. Touch them again, and you answer to me." Crow smirked, tipping his hat. "I'm the law here, Colton. If Burke says they owe, they owe." Jack's eyes locked on Crow's. Silence crushed the room. "Not this time," Jack said, deliberate. "Not while I'm breathing." The saloon stirred. Some nodded, others looked away, but all felt the storm brewing. Burke's grin returned, sharper. "We'll see who this town belongs to." By noon, dust rose on the horizon, riders coming fast. Burke, Sykes, and Crow led them, arrogance in their posture, hands near weapons. Jack stood on his porch, rifle in hand, shoulders square. May and Lily stood behind him, fear in their eyes but resolve in their stance. They were done running. Neighbors gathered, drawn by the tension. Burke shouted, branding Jack a thief, a liar, a harborer of debtors. Crow flashed his badge, claiming the law. But Jack's voice rose, steady and strong. "You know the truth. You've seen the bruises. You know what kind of men these are. The law ain't a badge, it's justice. And justice has been gone too long." The crowd murmured, courage stirring. May stepped forward, pulling Lily with her. "We ain't the only ones they hurt," she said, voice shaking but firm. "We're just the ones still standing. That broke the dam. Voices rose, neighbors who'd suffered in silence now speaking out. Burke's power crumbled under the weight of truth. Crow's smirk faded as the crowd closed in, demanding justice. By day's end, Burke and Sykes were bound, marched off to face real judgment. Crow, stripped of his badge, slunk away to answer for his corruption. Jack lowered his rifle, his chest heavy but his eyes lighter than in years. May's hand brushed his, a silent promise of something beyond survival, a future. The lesson was clear: one man, scarred and weathered, could change everything by standing for what's right. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. So, what would you do? Walk away like Jack once did, or stand like he did now? If you were May, would you find the strength to speak? These questions linger, as timeless as the West itself. The fight's over, but the story's not. The Wild West is gone, but its lessons endure.